This is grandfather. Now this year is going to be different than other years. I've given a lot of predictions to get you attuned to this year, but there is something I'd like you to do. And you can do it for friends. All right? I would like you to pick your best friend. If you don't have a best friend, then pick somebody that you have a lot in common with, meaning they're interested in things like this, for instance, that's going on here, this channeling, New Age, whatever you want to call it. And this is what to do. I'd like you to relax, close your eyes, and make the most simple and benevolent, meaning good and kind, okay? Prediction for your friend. Write it down. Keep it simple, not elaborate, and put it in an envelope after you've relaxed and gotten ready for it and tuned for it, yeah? Then seal the envelope and give it to your friend and tell him to open it on New Year's Eve the next year. This is not something that they're necessarily going to believe. If you want to, have a little fun with it. If you have a safety deposit box, all right, you can each put one, do one for each other, and each put it in your safety deposit box, but that's a lot of trouble. I'd say just give it to each other and don't open it. You don't have to put a wax seal on there, but if you want to have a little more fun, you could do that. The main thing is I want you to get used to perceiving, not just the signs in your friend, but check out the general environment. When your friend is there, okay, with you, or you're there with them, and there is no distraction to speak of, not much going on, so turn the ringers off on your phones. All right? Then just look at each other. You don't have to stare in each other's eyes. This person is your friend, you can count on them, okay? And imagine something wonderful happening for this person, or something simple that's not spectacular but would be appreciated. That too. And write down your prediction. Like that, see? Keep it simple and uncomplicated. Okay? That's your homework. Your homework at the beginning of the talk today. Now, I will give a few more predictions. Now, for Asia in general, of course, it's way overdue that you all decide that you're going to work together and unite in some way without any authoritarianism, meaning nobody coming along and saying, you will do this, you will do that. But this is a particularly good year for all peoples in Asia to get together. All the governments get together and decide how you can have a unity that is really very strong and comfortable. Sort of the United States of Asia, but call it something else. All right? Because I feel it will help. This is the kind of thing that can also be done in South America or Africa. Create some kind of unity, not just a piece of paper, but enough unity so that people can cross borders with relative ease. Some document could be made that would help people to do that. Asia particularly, though, you have the chance to become very much more influential in the next 10 to 15 years than you have ever been. So, and this for every country in Asia. So, with some qualifications, one being the radiation problem, but there may be something that will help that before too long. Then I feel that your chances of people becoming well off, not just one or two, not just a tiny percentage with all the money, but everybody having more than enough with comforts and ease, is really almost within your grasp in the next year. All right? This year will give you the greatest opportunity ever for that kind of unity on the business level, on the diplomatic level, and yes, even on the social level. So see if you can work something out. Now, a little talk about Africa in general. There's been way too much interference in your countries, and you know that, for quite a while. And there's a tendency for Northern Africa to be almost like its own place, and Southern Africa to be like a completely different place. But this is a time when you will find that many people will be interested in moving to your continent, especially in the South. So try to get some organization together so that your business climate is not only organized, but able to assimilate peoples easily and comfortably. It is best to do that because there will be those who will come and try to do things in a greedy fashion. All right? So I think you're pretty vigilant about that. But that is what to look for these times. All right? South America, you're going to have a real boom time in the next 10 to 15 years as well. And by boom, I mean a wonderful experience financially and even socially. There's a good chance that many peoples will become much more well off. But social considerations will become even more important than they've ever been before. I'm not talking about the way things have always been done. I'm talking about instead the idea of benevolent interactions between all peoples. So again, try to clear borders so that they're not too strict, and get your trade going in international things that include services even more than products. You'll find that your services will become increasingly in demand. And you'll also find that computer companies, large ones and small ones, will be able to move there and thrive. Do well, all right? So if you can go to school for computer education, this is the time to do it if you haven't done it before, because the big computer companies will be there soon and want to build lots of stuff and make lots of things and produce software, programs, all kinds of things, and they will want to hire local people. So please pay attention to that. Now, Canada, you have been doing very well economically. I know you may not feel that way for the average person, but you are likely to do better in the next 3 to 4 years, though you will have some difficulties with the atomic radiation, and you know that. Still, there are products and services coming along that will help that. I'm speaking of it openly because it's silly to try and keep it a secret. I don't think people will panic. I know there are those who think people will panic, but I don't think so. It'll just mean a certain amount of moving population around. Also, what's so difficult about seeding the clouds and getting the radiation in the clouds that drift over from someplace leaking radiation to land where you might feel it would be safer? You can do that. Think about it, governments. And Canada, you are sensible peoples. Try to advocate things like that so your country will be as safe as possible. All right? So I know I haven't brought up all countries, but I wanted to bring up a few and mention these things this time. I want you to be thinking also, like I said in the beginning of the video, how you can begin to make predictions. Feel free, if you want to, those of you who have used pendulums, to use your pendulum to make the prediction. It's not accurate, but it's more accurate than guessing. All right? I will talk more about predictions in the future. But I'm bringing up this homework because many of you are feeling much more unusual. Your spirit selves, your soul selves, are more integrated in your physical day-to-day lives now than they have been for quite some time. And you're going to discover that it comes not only with a curious amount of forgetfulness, so write something down if you need to remember it, but it will come with recollection of soul and spirit wisdom that you have created and discovered in other lives or in other focuses, you might say, on other planets, and you will suddenly know how to do things that you've never been able to do, or suddenly find that things that have been totally difficult and almost impossible for you to do in the past are now almost ridiculously easy. At least 20% of the population will have that experience at some point during this year. All right, that's enough for now. More next time. Good life.